Okay, good morning, everybody. I'll just share that properly. Okay. All right. So I'm just, for those of you who are in my group, I'm just going to start going live on my timeline. You just give me a moment. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jodie Simmons here from Taking Perspective. I am live in my Professional Women's Collective group. They can see the PowerPoint there. For the rest of you on my timeline, you can pop into the link that I've got on my timeline if you want to get the PowerPoint presentation. How is everybody? It's been a pretty crazy time all over the country, I think, at this stage. So I'll just explain a little bit about myself. I'm a lifestyle accountability and mindset coach. Hello to those watching on Facebook. I help busy professional women pretty much stop running flat out in circles. I help them gain some balance in their professional and work life. So yeah, these webinars are around about 15 minutes each. They're every Friday at about 10:30 a.m. and the topics will vary from time to time. So this is week 3 of 8 on accountability. So it's great for those who were able to make it this morning. Thank you very much. For those of you who registered for the webinar, you will also get this by email. And this is being posted in my Professional Women's Collective group also. So I'd also like to take the moment just to announce something that I'm going to do. In the next few weeks, I will be holding a free, yes, you heard that correctly, free hypnotherapy session. For those of you who've been following my post, you would have seen that I've been chatting a lot about procrastination, reasons why we procrastinate and how it affects our lives. So I thought it might be a good time to offer a free hypnotherapy session based on procrastination. So I'm really excited to do this. It'll be of an evening, I believe in a couple of Thursdays' time, but I will confirm that in the next couple of days and post a link. And I'll pop the link under this video once I've sorted the exact date out, but keep an eye out for that. Yeah, it'll be really good. So I'll just get started. I've already shared my screen. All right. So what we've got here this week, we will be chatting about how to fix a lack of accountability, how to demonstrate accountability, and does accountability improve your overall performance? Last week, we touched a little bit on the effect of accountability and performance, but we didn't really talk about it from a complete individual point of view. So we'll go into that a bit more. And I keep losing my mouse. There we go. All right, so here we are. How do we fix a lack of accountability? So the good news is there is a few strategies that we can put into play to encourage accountability and how to take responsibility for yourself and your team and to own their own positions, decisions and mistakes they make within the workplace. So one of the main reasons that accountability fails is that people fail to achieve their dreams is that they don't see themselves, they don't take responsibility for their choices or lack of action on the critical processes of success. So they just don't see their role in where they play. Accountability is important, and being able to navigate through the roadblocks is equally as important. So yeah, people need to sort of help themselves, you know, So here's a few strategies that you could use. Recognize and own your mistakes. So you need to hold yourself to a certain standard. Whether you are in a team environment or you work for yourself, you need to learn from your mistakes and how to do things differently. And making a mistake is fine. You know, people see that as a bad thing, but it's actually not, because it's a process of learning. The next one is engage in the goal setting process. This is something that people sort of really fall behind on, because they don't have a clear picture of their end game. So you need to really set your goals, because without them, what are you actually aiming for? The next one is make your expectations clear. With the goal setting process, you can really have a detailed guide and know what you have to do, when you have to do it by, and all the processes that go in between. Make sure you have all the resources you need. There's nothing worse than trying to do a job and you don't have the resources or tools that you need. So you really need to make sure that you've met all the external requirements. And that could also be, you know, you may need to do an extra course or something like that, or it could be like a physical requirement that's required. So the next one is give yourself constant feedback. So a lot of the time, you know, we get a little bit afraid of feedback, but the process in the whole process of wins and successes, questions arise, challenges, roadblocks that you come up against. This helps reinforce the expectations and helps you keep working towards your goals. So you really need, it doesn't matter if you work for someone else or you work for yourself, you need to give yourself constant feedback on the steps that you take within the processes of achieving your outcomes. So here's a funny picture of someone who's achieved their outcomes. I don't know whether there's like 5 or 6 stars up there. I'm not quite sure if you can see that past my pin at the top there. Okay, so the next question of the day is, how do you demonstrate accountability? So how do you make accountability a core part of your workplace culture? So I'll read from the PowerPoint. Complete tasks that have been assigned to you by the timeline you agreed upon. Be responsible for the success of yourself and your team, and make an effort to support yourself and team when needed. So sometimes you just may have to help another person in the team, because ideally you're working as a team. You're not working as an individual if you're in that environment. When you schedule meetings, respect everyone else's time by showing up prepared and on time. You know, we expect other people to have that themselves and turn up on time. So it's really important that you lead by example. Accountability is also linked to increase of, you know, commitment and workplace employee morale. If you have them, you know, or you work as a part of a team, you know, these sorts of things help people feel committed to the success of the overall job. And as your own boss, as a leader in your own field, if you're a manager, you are a pace setter of the tone, the performance, the culture of your team, of your own workplace and of your own environment. So people will follow your lead. If you are continuously showing up, say, late to meetings or pushing deadlines and not owning up to your own mistakes, your team will follow suit, because you are leading by example. Quick shout out hello to all those watching on Facebook. All right, so we've also got here schedule feedback. When you give it regularly, when it comes to giving tough feedback, it's easier to give. This creates a habit. So everyone likes feedback, but it needs to be done constructively. If it's not going to be good feedback, it needs to be done constructively. And if you're giving feedback to people all the time, for the most part, you would hope that is positive feedback. As it says there, when you have to give something that's tough, it's easier and it's received better if you create this as a part of your habit. Procrastinating about feedback only makes situations worse. The sooner issues are resolved, the better. Yeah, if we just sort of sit back and let things happen without attending to them, that doesn't help the culture, and nor does it help the team environment, you know, or yourself if you're working for yourself. Keep track of your commitments, keep track of your action items. So that's just prioritizing where you need to be, how you need to do it, and your timeline of events. Okay, I'll just move that pin out of the way if I can. There we go. Does accountability improve your individual performance? So here we've got keeping yourself accountable. We all set out to do the right thing. No one wants to fail or make mistakes. Keeping ourselves accountable as individuals puts you in a place that failure and mistakes are something to learn from. I think that's really important. Accountability does have a bit of a negative spiel on it to a degree, because it's been used incorrectly in team environments before. People really need to, as I said before, be constructive when giving feedback, because mistakes and failures are a part of life. We're not infallible, we are human. So let's be constructive when giving our feedback. I think it's really important. Individual accountability occurs when the performance of each individual is assessed and the results are given back to that individual. So again, that's the feedback. Yes, being accountable certainly does increase an individual's performance, because it makes you feel as though you're a part of something. You know, you're a part of the end game, you know, and every step you take within that. You know, a few sessions ago, I had a picture of people within a cog. That was obviously a team environment. If one person stops turning the cog, then it stops everybody else. You can relate that to your own workplace also. If you stop turning the wheels and you stop doing things, and you just, you know, not being accountable and not putting things in place, then you're not going to get to your end game. You're not going to get to your outcome. You're not going to get to your goals, and you're not following your mission and values of your own company. So to mention just a few ways to focus on, I think that might be the next one. A few ways to focus on accountability. These are 10 qualities of accountable people. They answer emails and requests. They do what you promise, take responsibility for their actions. They're proactively in solving problems. They don't blame or make excuses. They're always ethical. They're honest and transparent. They demonstrate outcomes. They review, evaluate to improve, and they show humility and apologize. So focusing on an individual accountability helps develop important skills, will help themselves, and also if they're in team environment, organisation, everyone within that team needs to be accountable for their own actions, you know, and take appropriate action, avoid blaming others, eliminate victim thinking, and stop procrastinating ultimately. Okay, so it's that time. So now we're up to the summary of this week, week 3's top tips for accountability. So we talked about a few strategies to fix a lack of accountability. They were to recognise your own mistakes, engage in goal setting processes, make your expectations clear, make sure you have all the resources you need, and give yourself constant constructive feedback. We also touched on how to demonstrate accountability, and those were things like completing tasks, being responsible, showing up and being prepared, be on time, regular feedback again, and tracking your items. We also talked about individual accountability and how it improves your performance. It absolutely does, not just on a professional level, but also in your private life. Because even in our own homes, you know, we're all accountable for certain tasks. So it's a team. Your family is your team. It's your tribe, and everyone plays a role. So one of my favorite sayings is by an author to The Secret of the Millionaire Mind, T. Harv Eker. Some of you may have heard of him. How we do anything is how we do everything. That is one of my favorite quotes. So how you show up to anything is how you will show up to everything in your life. T. Harv Eker is also a motivational speaker, and I had the pleasure of seeing him here in Melbourne at an MMI conference around about 10 years ago. So this is how long this quote has stayed with me. It just rings true. And, you know, if there's something going on in my life, for some reason, that little quote always just rears up, and, you know, it's like a little Woody Woodpecker tapping on the brain. How you do anything is how you do everything. So again, I would like to thank everyone who jumped on Facebook to watch this. Anyone who registered for the webinar, thank you very much. So this was obviously posted in my Facebook group, Professional Women's Collective. You can also find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. You can come on over to my Facebook group so you can get more content and lives. It'd be great to share the information with you. Again, I'd just like to take this moment to mention that in a few weeks' time, I will confirm the date. It'll possibly be a Thursday night in a few weeks' time. I'm running a free hypnosis session on procrastination. If you've been following my posts, you would have seen I've been posting a lot about that. So it'll be a really good session to share with you all, a free hypnotherapy session. So yeah, so this is the end of week 3 of 8 for Tips for Accountability. Again, these webinars are 10:30 on a Friday morning. And I'd like to thank you all for joining me. And until next time, again, thank you everyone on Facebook. Hello to you all. This is Jodie Simmons from Taking Perspective. Thank you.